Hello everyone and welcome to the final NLP for Kids video podcast for 2012 because as of tomorrow we break up for Christmas and we've got 7 whole days off. Woohoo! So I just wanted to say a very big thank you to all those of you who've been part of NLP for Kids throughout the last 12 months and supporting us and the work that we do and coming along to our events and being part of our team. It's incredibly valuable to us to have you on board, and I just wanted to acknowledge you and say thank you very much, and we look forward to doing more with you in 2013. So let me share with you now our article for this month, which is called Impact. Recently the NLP for Kids team got together for a research project. We're going to be researching the effectiveness of our work in a measured way in a specific area of NLP with a specific defined group of young people. On the day, we were very fortunate to have the insight of Olive Hickmott, a specialist in learning difficulties who has undertaken a research project previously. Olive gave us some sound advice about the effectiveness of our work, pointing out that any area of impact we look into with children could be reduced or indeed heightened by the parents and teachers around that child. Earlier this week, I was working with a young person who has been having some difficulties in his life. The difficulties came about because his life went through several significant changes in a short space of time. He moved to a different area, joined a new school, got bullied, his parents got divorced, he moved house again, and the dynamics of his family changed considerably. As a result, he started acting in unwanted ways and became a great worry to his family. Then they came to see me. It's absolutely true that in working with any individual, we have to take into consideration the environmental factors, the people around them, and the other influences other than the one we may be having, which may and perhaps will be far more powerful than ours. It's part of the reason why I wrote the NLP for Parents and Teachers program. But it's also true that when someone changes, there's a ripple effect on the system that potentially used to influence them. The young person I was working with was relatively mature for his 13 years. During a session of perceptual positions, in which they moved to a different physical location in order to take on the personality and the viewpoint of others around them who are involved in the situation, he began to realize how his behavior was affecting others around him, not just him. Suddenly, my initial concern about his environmental factors holding him back became the reins that he could hold and control. It became his power. He was suddenly no longer a victim of his circumstances, causing him to behave in harmful ways as a symptom of his life, but the puppeteer who commanded the attention of those around him using his behavior. I used the perceptual positions process to highlight this. As he acted out being the other members of his family, I referenced back to his own chair that he'd been seated in at the start of the session and asked, "And how would," his name, "getting better affect you, Dad," when he was being the dad. He then told me how him taking control would positively influence each member of his family. Of course, there could be negative ripple effects here too. Sometimes changing means others do not need to worry about you, which can make them feel a little redundant. That's if that's something that they're used to doing in their life. Ultimately, the lesson here, once again, is that the world around us can prevent us from changing or be our momentum for changing. It simply depends on the perspective you and the child and their family have on the impact of that change.